Work plus rest plus recovery equals training, not work plus work plus work. This means that if you're going hard or long on a run or endurance event, you need to recover properly. Learn about the top 7 science-proven supplements for better run recovery and more on this episode of Trees and D-Lake. Supplements, they polarize and divide the endurance, sports, and running community. Some people love them and some people do not. I personally, I like them for many reasons, and maybe you should consider them in your recovery routine if you don't already. Mike and I are not nutritionalists or dietitians or health specialists, so please take everything we say as informative and fun. You can attempt to take these if you're healthy, but please consult with a medical professional first. Again, this is all fun and it doesn't replace real foods. None of these supplements do. What you'll learn in this episode, the actual 7 supplements, which are electrolytes, vitamin D, fish oil, glucosamine, collagen, protein, creatine, protein, and broccoli sprouts. How you can drink too much water and decrease your performance in a long event or training session. How non-science-based supplements could actually help you, and so much more. Let's dive deeper into the actual 7 supplements to help you recover better from your runs. The 8 scientifically proven supplements, and Mike's going to give his super pro scientific background, and he's also a pro coach, but these are actually scientifically proven. There is not enough money to test everything in the world. So there is a lot of anecdotal supplements out there that do work for some people. So I'm not using any of those supplements today. If you use some random powder that you found in the middle South America and it works for you, keep using it.
You've got me going already. Look, if there's no money to be made from selling the supplements, the research isn't going to be done because there's no funding for the research. Are people really going to research, like grass, for example? I'm making this one up. You can just go and pull the grass out of the ground and eat it yourself. I don't think anyone's going to do the research on that because no one's going to put the money in to provide the funding for it because there's no pharmaceutical companies going to make money out of it because grass is just everywhere. Research is done on supplements. It doesn't mean that it's not all good, but it just means that some supplements are missed because they aren't perceived value enough to make the pharmaceutical companies money.
Here's a fun story about one of my extreme endurance events gone wrong, failure, is 2016. I'm hydrating up for my longest endurance event I ever did, which is Ironman race, did it in 10 hours. But I basically drank a lot of water because I'm a heavy sweater. I didn't know that I lost electrolytes. I didn't know the science behind electrolytes. I actually was taking salt pills and salt tablets, but I wasn't taking electrolyte tablets, and it was just salt. And then I stopped taking them as I started the run. And I kept drinking a whole lot of water, like peeing clear. And then I hit the 10K 6-mile mark of the marathon run of my Ironman, and everything started hurting and cramping. I kept my heart rate was low. I could keep running. It was a cool day. It was like 20 degrees Celsius, which is about 67. Absolute perfect day. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why am I cramping up? So I constantly have to have a lot of electrolytes, and I have a lot more salt in my food than most people. And that also means that I hydrate. You need the electrolytes in your body to deliver that to the muscles. I'm sure I hacked that up.
Electrolytes fire the electric signals to get the muscles to work.
A lot of this stuff, I guess another big reason that I meant to put in the beginning, and I might say that earlier, another reason why I like supplements is I know exactly how much I'm getting. With food, you don't know the ripeness of the food, how much you cooked it, how much you over or undercooked it. You can't actually extract out, none of us can, we don't have labs in our kitchens to actually find out how much is actually in there. So you know the exact amount. But then there's the argument of bioavailability. Basically, a lot of foods are meant to be consumed with each other. So you need certain foods, fats, and et cetera, for you to actually get out the vitamins and the nutrients from that. I won't go down the rabbit hole. I'm going to digress. Mike, let me know what your thoughts are on essential electrolytes.
Also, just jumping quickly when you say, how much you're getting. So you know what the label says you're taking. It doesn't mean you're actually digesting that much. So you could be taking in 1,000 milligrams vitamin C, but the odds are most of it's going to be secreted in your urine, so you won't be absorbing it into the body. My argument is always get a good, healthy, balanced diet.
Yeah.
Same time, supplements are important for a reason. Electrolytes, I think, are important. I think more people have died in a marathon from drinking too much water than dehydration. Until very recently, it was thought that virtually no one had died through dehydration in a marathon, but actually quite a lot of people have died while an illness is called hyponatremia, which is where you basically drown from not having enough electrolytes because you take too much water. You're peeing out all your electrolytes. They give the body the balance that it needs. Just to recap, calcium, potassium, sodium, and magnesium, and they're critical in keeping your blood pressure correct. And when you're racing, they're also super important because they're critical for muscle contraction, and some people sweat more than others. When I race, I always make sure that my water bottles are full with a sports drink that's electrolyte based. So yeah, it's an individual factor. I would say that if the workout's less than 30 minutes, you don't really need to think about electrolyte supplementation. But if you're out in the heat training for longer than 30 minutes, yeah, replenishing the fluid with electrolytes is very important.
Let's jump right into because this is going to be 7 scientifically proven supplements. Show me the number 2, vitamin D. And I take this mostly in the pill form. I am dark skinned, so getting vitamin D from the sun, which is the best place to get it outside of the pills. It's really hard for me to get it, especially in the winter when the sun is lower and there's less vitamin D that my body can extract. You can get it in the middle of the summer in 5 minutes. You can get all you need for the week.
At certain times of year, I think certain people need to take vitamin D supplementation so that they didn't go out in the sun. And so they're not getting vitamin D. So if you're in a culture where you're not going out in the sun, these sort of people will need to think about supplementation of vitamin D. So even if you're living in a hot climate, but if you're not exposing this, it's a supplement that you need to think of. In the West, I think they put vitamin D in all the cereal packets and everyone eats far too much sugary cereal, so they're probably getting enough vitamin D, but it's something to think about, definitely.
Fish oil / omega-3s. It still helps with recovery. It just doesn't help as much as we thought. It doesn't hurt to use it. It also works really well. Vitamin D works really well when you take it with fish oil. So you need to get a higher end fish oil. What do you think about all that, Mike?
Well, again, fish oil, it's the omega-3 fatty acids that we're after, essentially, from the fish oils. So we're getting too many omega-6 fatty acids and oils in the body, and this can set you up for heart attack, heart disease. It's not healthy, and so we need to keep the balance. So we need to get these fish oils, and I would only go for them with omega-3 fatty acids. They're essential for human health. The best forms for me, if you're eating salmon, herring, and sardines, you're going to be getting bags of it. But if you're not a big fish eater, then you can get them, in supplements, and they're probably taken from salmon, herring, or sardines to put in the supplement. If you're a vegetarian, you can get them from chia seeds, from walnuts, and even flax seeds. So vegetarians or vegans can also get a good source of them.
Glucosamine. And I didn't know what this was, but once I started researching it and I saw that, it helps with recovery, especially after hard workouts and strength training. And then I found out it was for older people, senior citizens, and people that things hurt and muscles ache and all those types of things. So what do you think about that?
So a lot of people take this supplement, for the knees. If you get pain with the knees, they think it helps. But those who took glucosamine sulfate supplement were 15% more or less likely, to have a heart attack than those that didn't. And if they did have a heart attack, they were 22% less likely to die of that heart attack. So it seems that glucosamine is now making a little bit of a revival as a supplement, because it not only is it protection for the joints, it's thought, but it could also be a good risk protection against heart attacks and even having a fatal heart attack. So again, this is another supplement that's considered to be pretty good to take. My trouble is I'm really bad at remembering to take the supplements. I do remember to take my fish oil every day.
Collagen protein. We talked about that a bit. Glucosamine has collagen-like properties to it, but actual collagen protein powder. The collagen is something that I try to stay on regularly, minimum 2 times a week, especially after hard workouts. An intense strength training regime program, just really sticking with it, staying disciplined, the calf raises and the Slayus work that I need as I'm getting older. My Achilles is just starting to get old and shrivel up. But collagen. What are your thoughts on collagen?
They suggest that most people should get enough collagen from the diet. Again, they also say that the important sources of it is bones. And so as a vegetarian, I'm not going to be, I would say that it's one to go for. It's not my area of expertise, I must say. It's something I have read up on, and it seems that science is suggesting that it'll help protect with the flexibility and the mobility and your cushioning while you're running. So it could be quite a valuable supplement for runners.
creatine monohydrate. And it's not just for bodybuilders, and just study after study, it's just like creatine is really good for endurance athletes, especially runners. So yeah, I take that on usually hard days and usually when I'm strength training. What are your thoughts on creatine?
Being beneficial as giving you a buffering against lactic acid, maybe as much as a 5% buffer against lactate building up. That's another thing, so that when you're running at threshold, being able to run a little bit faster, a little bit further without building up lactate in the blood might be another good reason to take creatine. And then that then comes into that grey area of not supplementing for health more. This is taken specifically to help you to race quicker. So that then becomes a grey area with caffeine. It's legal. So if you want to take something legal to help you race faster, I think this could do it. It might be a buffer against lactate acid. And then it also seems that taken in conjunction with caffeine, it might also be a bit of an ergogenic aid as well. So it can help runners perform better.
Number 5, collagen protein. We talked about that a bit. Glucosamine has collagen-like properties to it, but actual collagen protein powder is something that I legit have been taking for a few years now, probably 4 years. It was because I've been having these Achilles issues. My Achilles, as I get older, I didn't take care of them as best I could. I wasn't doing the strength work that I could have done. There is a lot of evidence now, and there's some preliminary studies. They haven't put the paper out. It hasn't been peer reviewed, I think, as of the time of this recording. Collagen combined with strength training routine, Achilles soleus, after an Achilles injury actually is like this golden combination. And you get nice hair. I don't have that much hair, but you get nice hair and you get nice skin. My skin does glow after I've taken the collagen for about a week or two. I'm like, oh wow, my skin looks absolutely phenomenal. Collagen. What are your thoughts on collagen?
It is good for protecting the soft tissue in the joints when running and enhancing your recovery. And again, if you do all this, if you do protect your joints and you recover well, it'll help protect with the flexibility and the mobility and your cushioning while you're running. So it could be quite a valuable supplement for runners.
All right, we're going to end this off number 7, broccoli sprouts. So broccoli sprouts sprung up in my radar via, I can't remember her name, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. There's been some new scientific information about broccoli sprouts, but I did broccoli sprouts because the reason why is the cancer. It has a higher chance of reducing the risk of getting cancer as you get older. There we go. So yeah, if you take broccoli sprouts every day and you still get cancer, sorry. And it's best to take broccoli sprouts as a real fruit food. So you need to grow your own, or you can buy broccoli sprouts and, store them in the freezer and then chop them up in your salad. I don't have time for that shit. So the second best is to get it in a pill form or a powder form. But it actually has a running recovery benefit and it mitigates oxidative stress. That's probably the biggest thing. What do you think about broccoli sprouts, as it's quite new?
Well, I think you've pretty much summed it up. It is a new one, and I had to read up a little bit on. The only thing I can really add is the technical term, and I didn't know this. It's a rich source of sulforaphane, and that is the compound which is a natural antioxidant. It looks as though it could be quite beneficial. It as I say, it's a new one, and so I think the research is still out on it, but it's all looking good at the current time.
Top 7 proven through science supplements that I use for everyday training and recovery. 1, essential electrolytes. 2, vitamin D as the pill form, obviously. 3, fish oil / omega-3s. 4, glucosamine. 5, collagen protein. 6, creatine monohydrate. 7, broccoli sprouts in the supplement form. Any concluding summary thoughts, Mike?
Of those, I take the fish oils regularly, and I keep meaning to take glucosamine, but I keep forgetting. I do get a lot of vegetables in my diet. I take the electrolytes when I'm training correctly. Obviously, iron is super important for transportation of oxygen around the body. As an endurance athlete, being anemic is not a good one. So that's a temporary supplement I'm taking. And again, it looks like iron is good to take with vitamin C. I'm not against them, and you seem to pick a good chunk of very good supplements. But I'm definitely much more in the camp of trying to eat a healthy, balanced diet to get as many of the essential vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats.